Good morning, Rachel. A few people have asked me for some additional videos. One of the questions that I had is how to calculate the value of the closing stock when you get that in your SOPI. So calculate the closing stock using information B3. So we will go down to information B3. We will ignore all of the information for now. So information B3, there we go, image. So it says that the company uses the weighted average method. Weighted average means the average value of your stock. So that means your opening stock total value plus your purchases and carriage on purchases, the total value. And you're going to divide that by the number of units that you have available for sale to see what the average cost was. So this over here is the key average. So first of all, you have your 540, 54, there we go. And then you have your 993, 800. So you have that, 7,405. Okay, I'm just calculating here. Okay, so it's the 54 opening balance. Plus you have your 993,800. Right, so that is what you have available for sale. And then the total number of units is your 300 that you started with, plus your 4,939 units. So divide your total by your total number of units. So the total value divided by the total number of units. So that is 5,239 to get your average cost. So it's 1,047,800 divided by 5,239. And that is 200 Rand per unit. 200 Rand per unit. Okay, so that means that all the stock that you have available, the number of units that you have available at year end is then at 200 Rand per unit. Now, how many units do we have available? So a good thing to do always is to start off by reading through the information to see if they give you anything regarding your units at year end, or if you are only going to rely on the information as per the question. So I'm going to scroll down to the information when it starts. Right, so trading stock, question mark, we know because we now have to calculate that. It doesn't say anything else about our trading stock. It also doesn't say anything about, for instance, sales and that we have to calculate units sold. So nothing there. Shares and dividends, not applicable. Low, not applicable to stock. So that means that the only information we have regarding stock is here within information number 3. So that means that we started with stock 300 units. We then purchased a further 4,939 units. So we had available for sale our 5,239. That is my available for sale. Available for sale. They are saying that I have sold 4,054. So in order to calculate my closing stock balance, I need to know how many units I have in stock at year end. And that is opening balance plus the purchases to get to my available for sale. Then I'm going to say minus units sold. And the number of units that I sold is 4,044. So whenever I'm left after the available for sale minus the units sold is then the number of units that I have in stock at year end. So it was 5,239 minus the units that I sold. And that means that I have in stock 119 closing balance. in units. So each one of these units belongs to 200 rand. So that's the value of the unit. I'm going to say the number of units that you have in stock times 200 rand. So 239. 239. That is the value of your closing stock. So value of closing stock. There we go. Okay, so that is what you have to do. First of all, weighted average, therefore find the average of the total number of units that you have available for sale. Available for sales means opening plus purchases minus returns if you had any returns. So this was an easy one because they didn't have any returns. They just gave you the net purchases plus your carriage on purchases. Then the number of units that you get there, you're going to divide the total value in money. So the monetary value divided by the number of units to get your average unit cost. That multiplied by the number of units that you had in stock at year end. And we got that by taking our opening stock plus our purchases units minus any returns if we had returns. And then we would have had our available for sale units, right? So the units there. That minus our units sold gave us our closing units. The closing units, number of units, times by the average cost per unit, gave us our total value of our closing stock. Then you have to keep in mind that you might have to use this moving forward. If I now decide to give you somewhere here within these adjustments, I'm going to give you a trading stock balance. Balance, my gosh. Trading stock physical count. Physical count. Revealed that you have trading stock on hand of 240,000. Remember, then this is your actual stock that you have. So according to your records, you have the 239. But when you now physically counted the stock, you saw that you have 240,000 rand stock. So there's a 1,000 rand difference between the two. Remember that you always have to have your physical stock count in your SFP. So this is what you want to see in your books, but this is what you have currently. Therefore, you have to adjust for that 1,000 rand difference. And whenever your books is less than what you physically counted, you have a surplus. If your books is more than what you physically counted, you have a deficit. So a surplus is an income. A deficit is an expense. But for this specific question, they only asked you to calculate the value of your closing stock, and that is your 239,000 over there. And that is it.